The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of Kurt Russell. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking Big Trouble in Little China. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're talking one of the best classic 80s movies of all time, Big Trouble in Little China, where Kurt Russell does a John Wayne impersonation the entire time. I'm joined as always by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here. What's up, dude?
One of the best classic 80s movies of all time.
I'm just trying to make him happy. Just fucking roll with it.
What are you doing? You're like, get that nose inserted right up his ass right now, don't
I'm just trying to make him happy. This movie sucks.
Oh my God, this is my favorite John Wayne film of all time.
The table's gonna be so split today.
Movie sucks.
It's so split.
I'm trying not to like ruin the day.
I know. We've been shitting.
Because he was like, hey, you guys want to go out and get lunch and sushi and shit? And I'm gonna be like, your movie sucks, bro. And he's like, fuck you.
We've been hammering him all day.
I know.
Since like the beginning of this morning, with everything we've talked about, it's just been. I'm sorry, man. I feel real bad. But yeah. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Me too.
Judah's also here.
Hello.
Hello. Wow.
That was a very subtle. Hello.
I'm gonna kill you.
How dare you?
Good old Jack Burton.
You gotta talk like you're doing a John Wayne impression. Yeah, it's fucking
I
ridiculous.
says, honey, I never drive faster than I can see.
You know what? You know what's funny is probably 95% of our audience have never heard of John Wayne.
You think so?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I know John Wayne.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, it's all in the reflexes.
Maybe.
He got canceled for like something he'd like said 45 years ago in a play.
Get out of here.
True story.
Anyway, Kadish is here.
Kadish is here. What's up, dude? How you doing?
So I want you guys to keep the fires lit. And if I'm not back by morning, call the president. Because this movie is one of the greatest movies ever made. This is one of the movies that made Matthew Kadish.
All right.
I can't wait to talk about it with you guys and prove you all wrong.
Look at him. He's got the special edition DVD case right next to him. It's
I
his
do-
good luck charm.
I actually dusted this off. It's one of my prized possessions. It's a 2-disc special edition DVD. And I
Sold at saltynerdstore.com.
yeah. So like basically I dusted this off from my collection and listened to the commentary track in preparation for today's show.
Nice.
And I can't wait to talk.
So this is going to be a Matthew Kadish heavy show. So if you like George Lucas talking to your ear, hang in there.
Yeah.
I think I made a comment to you earlier this week about this week's podcast is going to be an
Kadish.
hour and a half Kadish rambling on about how
That's
much
fine.
he loves
That's
this
fine.
fucking movie.
It's fine.
So yeah.
I can genuinely say I don't understand a fucking thing about this movie.
I even told you that I was like, Alex is going to hate this.
That's I don't hate it.
that.
I don't hate it. I just don't get it. Like that's my general thoughts and my final thoughts all wrapped up into one. I don't hate it. I just don't get it.
There you go.
That's it. I'm done for the day. Kadish, take over the show.
I am excited because now I know where you stand, and I am excited to know where you end up after our discussion.
All right, let's have some fun. Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then Jude's going to take over with her synopsis of Big Trouble in Little China. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support us and play a really freaking awesome mobile game, go to saltynerd.com/DC and download a game called Dragon Champions. And if you go into that game and you download it on your Apple or an Android device and you go into the promo code area and type in Salty, we will give you graciously a bunch of fucking money and also a cool fucking character to play and
money within the game.
Within the game. Sorry. Yeah, I got to clarify. It's Monopoly money for the Dragon Champions game and a character that you get to play with. And when you reach level 20, then you can join our guild, which is ran by one of our awesome patrons, JT. He's been pushing for more members of the guild to come in there and help do raids and stuff like that. So we have a ton of fun. It's a great game. It's very easy to play. You grab characters, you upgrade them, and then you go on these like cool little campaigns and war paths and join our guild. You can go on raids with us as well. And it's really easy to pick up, easy to put down mobile game. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want to help support us, head over there, type in the promo code SALTY so that we get credit and have a great time. It's super easy to play.
Speaking of club members, we got to meet JT recently in person.
We did.
It's so cool when we get to meet people who are like our Patreon members and are like just in our Discord a lot that because we talk to you guys all the time. So when we get to meet you in person, it's really neat.
When people ask me to sign things, it's the fucking weirdest feeling.
I know, right?
Super weird. But I like it.
Take a picture with me. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I feel super important right now.
I like it. I feel like I'm gracing them with my presence. And that I make their lives better for letting me be in it. So, yeah.
It might be true.
Yeah.
Okay. Big Trouble.
Well, before we get going, I just want to raise a toast to this movie.
Oh, wow.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Cheers.
You're here.
Cheers.
I'm not doing that.
Fuck you.
Did you finish your other one?
Yeah.
The wings of liberty never lose a feather. I love it. There's lines. There are quotable lines for sure in this movie. Jude, take it away.
All right, sir. 1986, Big Trouble in Little China, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour 39 minutes. This had a budget of $25 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
25 million? Mm-hmm. I think it brought
Are you cheating?
32. No.
Are you looking it up?
No.
He's looking at
absolutely not looking it up.
Okay, Vader. What do you think this brought into the box? Budget of 25.
$43 million.
Okay, this had a budget of $25 million and made $11 million at the box office.
Shocker.
What?
$11 million. Yeah, I don't think people understood John Carpenter.
I'm sorry.
John Carpenter is one of those filmmakers who's always ahead of his time. Like most of his movies always failed at the box office, but then found their audience later on home video. And this was, to me, like this is one of the greatest movies ever made.
This is definitely a cult classic.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I believe you.
We're going to get the fucking Big Trouble in Little China people after us on this one.
We are.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't want them people.
I don't want them people.
You guys, the Big Trouble in Little China people are right behind me. Run.
Yeah, they're worse than the Snyder cult.
It's like, oh shit, they're wearing giant straw hats. Run! Oh fuck! Hey.
Get out of here, Jack. All right, you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Good old Jack Burton gets himself caught up in some big trouble in Little China. He just wanted to collect the money he won in a double or nothing, no horseshit bet. But when his pal Wang's fiance gets abducted by some Chinatown street gang punks, they hop in the Pork Chop Express to track her down in Little China and find big trouble. Miao Yin's been targeted by a cursed sorcerer who wants to hypnotize, marry, and murder her. She's got green eyes, and that means she's the one foretold thousands of years ago that would break Lopan's curse. Also, Kim Cattrall has green eyes, so Lopan kidnaps her too. He thinks 2 wives, 1 curse. I can work with this. It's a plan so crazy it just might work. Unless Jack Burton and his cat-like reflexes foil his plans. Discuss.
All right, listen. This show has a lot to love. Okay. Kurt Russell. Love him. Great. He's going full ham in this movie.
Kurt Russell's hair, Kurt Russell's boots, Kurt Russell's tank top, Kurt Russell's hat, Kurt Russell's truck.
Just perfect.
Kurt Russell's John Wayne.
I get it. Yeah, it's 100% John Wayne impersonation. And it's great. It's fun. It's a great time. Okay, so you got Kurt Russell doing his thing, which is fun. You got Chinese mysticism and kung fu. Fucking cool. You got beautiful green-eyed girls, both Asian and American. Fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing not to like about this movie. I just don't get it.
Yep.
I'm watching it and I'm like, the fuck is going on right now? This is bonkers.
Yeah.
And I was like along for the ride, but also really confused most of the time.
Did you happen to watch the John Carpenter, Kurt Russell commentary?
No.
Okay.
No.
It was basically John Carpenter explaining
like the movie. So,
yeah, but you can't.
I mean, I guess that's what I needed, but at the same time, the movie should be able to stand on its own.
No.
Yeah.
So like in the commentary, John Carpenter and Kurt Russell are basically just like drinking and reminiscing about their time together. And the commentary is great because it just feels like 2 old friends.
It's like us.
Watching a movie. They're like, hey, remember the 80s? You know? And the funny thing about this movie is that the more you see it, the better it gets. So like the first time you watch it, you're like, I don't get it. And then like on each subsequent time, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that before. Oh, I didn't notice that before. And by the time like you've seen it as many times as I do, like you just love it. It's fantastic.
100%. I get where you're coming from. Unfortunately, this week I didn't have enough time to watch this movie more than once. So usually for our podcast, if we have a movie I generally try my best to give it 2 watches. One, so I can just enjoy it, and the second, so I can kind of analyze it and figure it out and have like a thought about it. I didn't have time to watch this twice. I watched it once and I was like, the fuck was that? It was like a freaking roller coaster ride and it was over too soon. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? It was super weird. I didn't get it.
Green smoke.
There was freaking trolls and monsters and like freaking kung fu dudes with glowing eyes. And I was like, what is this movie? This is weird. I guess that's the point.
Yeah.
But I have to give it a second chance, which I haven't been able to do yet.
Sure.
So I'm not like hating on the movie. I'm not trying to be down on it, but it was just like, I just didn't get it. And I didn't have as much fun as I feel like I should have had with it. Everything, all the ingredients is there. It just never baked long enough.
I feel the same way. I don't remember ever watching this movie before this week. This might have been my first time.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, but it might as well have been.
Definitely my first time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't imagine never have not seen this movie on VHS tape or something in the past 40 years or whatever it was since it's. What year did it come out?
86.
Okay. So yeah, I just can't imagine having not seen this, but maybe it was a first watch for me. I'm not 100% sure. I'm with you. I didn't get it. I'm not.
You guys are bumming me out.
I know. I'm sorry. I mean, I can see why people would have fun with this movie. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of goofiness and a lot of weirdness, but I just I don't feel like I was I just didn't get it. I didn't get it this week. Maybe I was in the wrong mindset or something, but I even tried to watch it with people in our Discord. I did a watch party for it, and we had a good time. But at the whole time we were watching, I'm like, this is really weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I wasn't really quite sure what.
Do you want to let these two just gush over it for a minute?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna go have a drink.
Kadish and Jude, we're gonna go get drinks.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead and just
We'll be
have
back
fun.
in 45
Tell you what,
minutes.
why don't you go make me a sandwich?
Yeah.
Sure will.
So
Stone ground mustard.
yeah.
No, but seriously, like, can you guys tell me, like, what is it about this movie that has you so enamored by it? Jude,
I don't get it.
Oh, you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
go ahead and go
Okay.
first. Kadish can talk a minute.
All right. So my first introduction to this, I was in a bar with a girlfriend, and we met a boy, and he and I were getting vibing, and he said something about Big Trouble in Little China, and my girlfriend was like, "Fuck yeah, Jack Burton," and I had never seen it before, and I went, "Yeah," and I was lying. Nick, if you're out there, I was lying. And so then at that point, I was like, "Oh, I've never even heard of this movie before. What the fuck is it?" And my girlfriend was like, "It's Kurt Russell. It's 80s. You would love it." She's like, I'm surprised you've never seen it before." And I was like, "Well, now I have to." And so then I did. And I was like, holy shit, why haven't I seen this movie before? And now this is one of those movies that's like I saw it way past when it came out. But like when I saw it, I was like, oh God, Kurt Russell. And I don't know that I've ever seen a movie that I haven't at least enjoyed him in it.
Mm-hmm.
But now this is one of those movies that like, you know when you're sick and in bed and you just want to like watch movies? This is one of those movies for me. Every time I'm sick and in bed, it's this and it's Wildcats. And if I'm not over whatever I'm dealing with by then I just fucking watch them over again. But like this is one of my staples. I probably watch it. He asked me the other day when was the last time I watched it, and I was like, God, I had to have watched it recently, and I think it's probably been a couple of years. But like this, I watch at least every couple of years.
It's on a
Like it's
rotation.
just so much fun. So the relationship between Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall, I think, is really one of the funny things about this movie.
Samantha from Sex and the City, right?
Yeah, Vader's favorite Sex and the City girl.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everybody's
the,
favorite.
the tramp.
Yeah, she also was in Star Trek.
She played the Vulcan in Undiscovered Country.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, Kurt Russell is doing a John Wayne impression the whole movie. Kim Cattrall is doing a Mid-Atlantic impression the whole movie. And they're playing off each other in these completely different genres. And we're just supposed to be along for the ride.
If we get over there tonight fast, maybe we can buy her back. A search warrant's too complicated. Violence out of the question.
Hold it, slow down. I'm feeling a little like an outsider here.
You are.
And it's hilarious. He's like, hey there, little sweetheart. Can I ask you? And she's like, oh, absolutely not. Don't worry, everyone. It's just me, Gracie Love.
He's like, can you stop rubbing your body up against me? I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah, and he's like, sorry, the moment just kind of got to me. And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever, mister. It's hilarious.
And John Carpenter specifically directed them to act that way because he wanted kind of like the 1930s and 40s dialogue from those types of movies to be like their interaction with one another.
That's one of the things that confused me so much. I was like, where is this movie supposed to be taking place? It's
Everywhere.
all over the place.
In the meantime, you've got like his sidekick who he just won a bet against. And he's like, all right, fine, I'll give you your money. But first we got to go to the airport. And like hijinks ensue along the way. And it becomes like, these two guys against a curse. And it's just good. It's so fun, so much fun. Do the graphics hold up? Fuck no. But that's what's so great about it.
That troll looked pretty good.
Yeah, like Egg Shen in the middle. He's like, sorcery. I believe in sorcery. Don't you? And he's like between his fingers. It's great.
It's fucking bonkers, dude. So, Kadish, explain your love of this movie, and if you have any tidbits from the commentary, feel free to share them.
Well, I would recommend that if people can listen to the commentary for this, that they do so, because it is just fun listening to like these two old friends, John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, talk about this movie and reminisce about it. But one of the things that doesn't surprise me about Vader's reaction and your reaction, Alex, is that at the time, the studio that made this movie didn't even understand it. And that's one of the reasons why it kind of bombed at the box office, is because they didn't know how to market it, because they didn't get the joke. And I think like once you understand the joke that John Carpenter was going for, this movie opens up in a whole different like way when you view it. So basically this movie, it started off as a script that was like a Western. It was like, it happened in San Francisco at the turn of the century. And Jack Burton was a cowboy who rides into town on his horse, and his horse gets stolen and all this other stuff. And they deal with like actual like Chinatown from like, like from like Chinese railroad workers and stuff like that. And apparently the initial script for this was awful. And so when John Carpenter came on board, he's like, all of John Carpenter's movies are kind of like Westerns in a certain way. And so like he really wanted to do the Western, but the studio was like, you know what, we want this set in modern times to like bring the budget down and stuff like that. And so they brought in a third screenwriter to kind of rewrite this and kind of update it into something that was like modern day. And when the decision to do that was made, Carpenter was like, well, I wanted to do a Western, but since I'm not being allowed to do that, I'm going to make this into a comedy. and John Carpenter didn't bother to tell the studio this because he knew that they'd never allow him to do it. But when they were shooting the movie, he told Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall and all these people, he's like, look, this is a comedy. Okay, so like play it up as a comedy. And the joke that John Carpenter came up with was that Wang is the main character, the hero of this story. Kurt Russell is his sidekick, but the Jack Burton character is so full of himself that he thinks he's the leading man when he's actually the supporting character.
I can see that.
And if you watch this movie all the way through, Jack Burton is just a complete buffoon who kind of bumbles his way through this adventure. And that's the joke, is that Jack Burton is set up to be like the white savior hero through all the marketing and stuff like that. But in reality, he's the comic relief sidekick to Wang.
Yeah, because like in the very first scene of the movie, they're I think it's like the FBI or something that's interviewing Egg Shen.
No, it's a lawyer.
Lawyer, sorry. But they're like, half of a city block has been destroyed and there's green smoke and like, have you seen Jack Burton? And it's like
leave Jack Burton alone.
Yeah.
You leave Jack Burton alone.
That's my favorite line. It's set up to be like Jack Burton is our hero. He saved us all. But then you watch the movie and you're like, did he?
Well, what's funny about that opening scene is like, so the studio, because they didn't get the joke and John Carpenter never told them about it, they were like, well, you know, Jack Burton doesn't come off as too much of a hero. So we need to add a scene at the beginning of this movie to kind of establish who he is and what happened. And so John Carpenter was like, oh, we don't really need that. And the studio's like, you must put this scene in there. And so like John Carpenter shot that scene like after everything else had been shot and just stuck it in at the beginning. But originally it just started with Jack Burton kind of like driving into town. But the thing that I truly love about this movie is that it's such a fun movie. And with my Earthman Jack books, which are the books that I was the novelist of, like this was such a huge influence because my character Earthman Jack is heavily inspired by Jack Burton from this movie. But also little things like, for instance, the evil alien race in my books, they're called the Death Lords. And the gang in this movie is called the Lords of Death. And like, that was like the inspiration.
You hack.
But well, I mean, like there was a lot of pop culture inspiration from this movie. Like for instance, the Three Storms, who are the guys with like the big wicker hats
and basket hat guys.
Yeah, the basket hat guys.
Rain, thunder, and
lightning.
Lightning.
So like basically those characters were based off of the three Shogun assassins from Lone Wolf and Cub, who kind of popularized that wicker hat style and stuff like that. But because they were given these supernatural powers, they actually became the inspiration for Mortal Kombat's Raiden. Raiden was inspired by the Three Storms, the guys with the wicker hats.
Yeah, yeah.
But Lo Pan, who's like James Hong's character in this, the main bad guy, he was the inspiration for the main bad guy. And
for Shang Tsung.
For Shang Tsung, yes, thank you.
So this movie created
was
Mortal Kombat?
Inspired some of it.
Yeah, it inspired Mortal Kombat, because one of the cool things about this movie is that they kind of incorporated this world building of Chinese mysticism with like the black blood of the earth and all the different hells that, you know, there's a great line in here where like the Chinese have lots of hells.
I love that scene where he's like, no, I'm talking about oil. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. The black blood of the earth.
Yeah. And so like there's a lot of interesting world building in this movie where you could see this spawning like a bigger universe and stuff like that. In fact, there's a great line in the movie where Jack Burton and Egg Shen are together, and Egg Shen had talked about like this potion that was like meant to like give them courage and stuff. And Jack Burton's like,
"What's in the flask, Egg? Magic potion?"
Yeah.
Thought so. Good. What do we do? Drink it?
Yeah.
Good. I thought so.
I mean, like the thing that makes this movie is really Jack Burton.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's performance in this, and like they were just going as like goofy as they possibly could get away with. But listening to their commentary, they're just cracking up the entire time they're watching this. And so like, once you get the joke, this movie becomes infinitely better.
Yeah. There's like even a scene where like he and Kim Cattrall have their big romantic kiss, and he goes into the next two scenes wearing her lipstick like smeared across his face.
Well, what was funny is like, so when they shot that kiss, right? So like she had like a shit ton of makeup on, and when they were shooting the kiss, the lipstick got all over Kurt Russell's mouth, and they were like, wait, you know, like after he gets out of the elevator, isn't that going to create a continuity issue? And they're like, what do we do? And John Carpenter was like, what if we just left it on your face? And it's like, for the final fight, he's like, yeah. And Kurt Russell's like, I like it. and
you guys are crazy, man.
Yeah. And it just goes with like the whole idea that Jack Burton's such a buffoon. Like he has his final showdown with the main bad guy with like a bunch of lipstick on his mouth. It's hilarious.
So that's hilarious. But this movie, like, I don't know what it was, but it kind of like unlocked this new love of Kurt Russell that I hadn't had before. But like hearing him do like just an over the top John Wayne, I think back to his other movies and I'm like Hateful Eight, fucking Death Proof and shit like that. Like I see elements of John Wayne in like every freaking Kurt Russell movie now. And I'm like, oh my God, I think he's just doing like more or less subtle versions of John Wayne in all of his movies.
Yeah. Well, what was funny in Escape from New York, he based his performance on Clint Eastwood. And in this movie, he was like, I'm going full John Wayne on this one.
I dig it. That was my favorite part of this movie. Like, even though I didn't get any of the jokes quite yet, I still loved watching Kurt Russell do his weird thing. It was still fun.
No, and he's still got the mullet today.
Yeah, it's still fun. I wish I enjoyed it as much as you guys did. And I feel like if I do another watch or something like that, I think I probably will.
I feel like
get more into it.
I should watch it another time.
Yeah, for sure.
Just so I can pick up on some of this stuff. I don't know. I get it.
You and I are in the same boat.
I do. I get it.
Yeah.
I just
like when they're talking, Jude and Kadish are over here like spatting back and forth with nostalgia.
These two watch a lot of really bad movies. Really bad
For
movies.
sure.
Okay. That I will never like. But this one seems like I should probably appreciate it more. I don't know why I don't. I really don't. I can't explain it.
Kim Cattrall is so cute in this too.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Yeah.
It's a very young Kim Cattrall.
So she's beautiful.
Yeah.
I can see why, like, even how old was she when she did Sex in the City?
I'm gonna say she was in her late 30s.
Late 30s, early 40s, probably by the end of the seasons. Like, she's beautiful in that show.
Yeah.
And like this, amazing. She's gorgeous. Another thing, and this is because I don't have kids and I watch fucking cartoon movies, but another thing that I noticed that this inspired was in that scene where they were doing the weird ritual for the marriage, and the two girls like rose up into the ceiling and like touched the dragon on the thing with. That's straight out of Kung Fu Panda with Jack Black, who also stars James Wong.
James Hong.
Hong. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the panda's father.
Yeah, he's the panda's father in that movie. But that's another thing. I was like, oh, freaking the dragon champion, freaking floating up and like touching the orb from the dragon. Like, it's all straight from the freaking Kung Fu
Salty
Panda
Nerd
movie.
/DC Dragon Champion.
For a dragon champion.
The Kung Fu Panda movie is straight from this film.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. This movie inspired Kung Fu Panda.
This movie inspired a lot
of things, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the dorky scene?
Yes, I love it when he goes undercover.
Yeah, he's like, golly gee, it sure is raining cats and dogs out there.
I love his gumption. He's just like, well, the cab driver told me, you know.
He's so earnest about it too.
And that outfit he's wearing is from his previous role in the movie called Used Cars, where he just dusted it off from his closet. He's like, I think I'm going to wear this. And John Carpenter's like, sounds good.
Perfect. That's the thing about like when you guys are talking about like the commentary and how this movie was made and shit. Like it just seems like these two guys were just making goofy skits, almost like what we do for the podcast every once in a while. Like, oh, guys, I have a really funny idea. It'd be great if we did this. I feel like that's what this movie is.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of funny because, like, the subtle things that Kurt Russell and John Carpenter did to, like, kind of subvert expectations in this movie, it's so sophisticated. Like, so in the scene before he goes to the brothel, Kurt Russell is at Wang's restaurant trying to get like the insurance company on the phone because he lost his truck, and he's wearing this like powder blue silk kimono.
Looking good.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's so like weird looking on him.
Straight from Schmitty from the New Girl.
It's mono time.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a scene in there where like, so Gracie Law shows up, and that's Kim Cattrall's character, Gracie Law, the lawyer. Like they start talking about like Lopan and like, like all like the
legend.
Yeah. The legend and all the magic and stuff like that. And Kurt Russell's like, whoa, slow down. I'm starting to feel like an outsider.
And they're like, you are.
Oh shit. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll finish off this conversation and give you guys our final thoughts. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I feel kind of invincible.
Me too. I got a very positive attitude about this.
Good, me too.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you love what we do here and you want more of it, head over to saltynerdclub.com. You guys get access to 4 exclusive podcasts every single month where we talk about classic sci-fi TV shows like Farscape, Doctor Who, Star Trek, and also Eureka, Stargate Atlantis. We've had
Star Trek.
We've had David Hewlett. I almost said Dr. Hewlett. We've had David Hewlett on the show. Dr. David Hewlett on the show as well for interviews and some special episodes. So if you want that kind of stuff, head over to saltynerdclub.com and join up for the club membership. It's a lot of fun. And here's our goal. We are at like 48 to 50, I think, right now. If we hit the 100-mile marker for club supporters, we are going to watch the Eddie Murphy disaster, Pluto Nash. So if you want to watch us get drunk and talk about Pluto Nash, head over to saltynerdclub.com, help us sign up, get to that mile marker of 100 supporters.
So yeah, like maybe not sign up.
Don't tell them to do that. It's weird how many of our supporters are like, yes, torture them.
Oh my God, they really love it when we watch shit that we don't want to watch.
They do. They've been begging us.
What's wrong with you people?
They've been begging us to watch Pluto Nash. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. All right, saltynerdclub.com. Sign up. It's got a lot of fun. Trust me, it's a lot of fun.
So, Alex, did you know that this movie has a connection to Jurassic Park?
Here we go.
Tell me about it.
Oh God.
So the cinematographer of this movie, Dean Cundey, who worked with John Carpenter on a lot of his movies, was the cinematographer of the original Jurassic Park movie.
Nice.
You mean somebody in Hollywood made a movie that made a different movie? Whoa. That's incredible. That's
good for him.
But he worked on 2 legendary movies.
Oh my God.
Legendary.
Wow. It's like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon with a camera guy.
Steven Spielberg. Oh yeah, we could do Steven Spielberg and Carpenter. It always blows my, like when somebody says John Carpenter movie, I think immediately freaking like creature feature horror shit.
Yeah.
Like if you were to play this movie in front of me and be like, who do you think directed it? Never would I say John Carpenter. Ever. It's wild to me.
Jack Burton.
Yeah. Like, this movie is so goofy. I never would have thought John Carpenter would make it. But I do love the creature aspects of it, like that weird troll thing.
Yeah,
the sewer monster.
The sewer monster guy.
Quite figured out what that was all about. It made no sense to me.
It was just a weird
Just
thing.
like
in this movie.
there's this Bigfoot walking around in the sewers.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, nothing in this movie really makes
really
a lot
doesn't.
of sense.
And I think that's maybe why I'm having issues with this movie.
Yeah.
Is a lot of it doesn't make any sense to me.
But it's not ever like confusing. Like the Lopan plot is pretty straightforward. He wants to kidnap these women to marry them so he can break his curse and rule the universe. And like, you know, these martial arts guys are up against him, and they rope in Jack Burton to like help them out.
I feel like this would have been a really cool Scooby-Doo mystery movie.
Yeah, I love Kurt Russell's outfit in this, where he's just got like that weird Asian tank top on, and then he's got his like jeans tucked into his knee-high moccasins
with a fucking Mac 10.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, the Mac 10. So like, there's a great scene in this when like Kurt Russell and Wang kind of like escape from like the holding cell, and they got some guns, and Wang hands Kurt Russell like a little firearm, and Kurt Russell's like, "I'll trade you." And so he trades him. Then Wang looks at it and gives like his lawyer friend like the small gun and takes away the shotgun. And like that scene just alone kind of sets the hierarchy for like what's going on there.
Like who gets the cooler gun?
Yeah. There's so many wonderful moments in this movie. And to me, like that's really what makes it stand out, is like these collection of moments where like Kurt Russell is just brilliant. So for instance, there's like the scene in an elevator when they're getting ready to go like to the final showdown, and they've all drank this like special like magic potion. And Kurt Russell's like, I feel kind of invincible, you know?
They're all starting to get real bouncy in the
that was
elevator.
pretty funny.
Yeah, and then like there's this awkward pause, and Kurt Russell's like, "Is it hot in here? Is it just me?"
I think it was cocaine. What was it? I feel like it was probably cocaine.
And then in the big climactic battle, one of the best things that I think I've ever seen in any movie is like they all get ready to go and attack the bad guys, and Kurt Russell like does like this war scream, and he like fires the gun up in the air, and then he like the bullets knock out the ceiling, and they falls on his head and knocks him out for like the beginning of the fight. And then like when he becomes conscious, like he goes in and try to fight, and there's this like warrior, like kind of like otherworldly Lopan like guard who Kurt Russell like kind of like knocks out, and the guy like falls on top of him, and he's like trapped underneath this guy for the rest of the fight. And like he just completely misses like the entire like climax of the film. And then like when he has his final confrontation with Lopan, there's this great moment where like he has his knife, and like that's the only thing he has because he's out of bullets. And so like he throws the knife and just completely misses him, and he's just like, "Oh, that sucked." And then Lopan throws the knife at him, and he like grabs it and throws it back and hits him like dead and square in the forehead. And he has one of the greatest lines ever, which is just like,
It's all in the reflexes.
and like that's like his one hero moment in this entire movie. Everything else is just like
completely
so, like,
fucks it up.
Which is set up in the beginning when he wins that bet with Wang.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not saying this is not a good movie. It looks like a blast. I genuinely want to give it another shot. I really do. The listening to the joy, like especially Kadish. Kadish is usually pretty monotone when he's talking about movies. You can tell he's giddy right now.
There's plenty of movies out there that Kadish loves. You know, the movies that made Kadish. You know, that I understand, that I don't really like, that I don't get why he likes them. This one I can see it. Right. I can see it in the movie why he likes it. I'm just, for some reason, my brain isn't kicking into gear for some reason. I really don't know why.
I think genuinely this movie is one of those movies that takes multiple watches.
It might be.
Like a first watch, you might be like, "Oh, that was kind of fun," but I didn't really get what was going on. upon like second, third watch, you watch it with a group, you do like a Tom and Jude, weird movie night.
Yeah.
It's probably going to grow on you.
When this movie asks you if you paid your dues,
You tell
Just
him
tell 'em
the
check is in the mail.
there's so many great lines in this movie, like the Pork Chop Express. It's basically Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon type thing. There's just
I need that hauling ass thing for the back of my Yaris.
We can do it. All ass on the Yaris. Oh God.
Yeah, there's actually, it's kind of funny because there are a lot of, there are only so many Asian actors in Hollywood in the 80s, right? But there are certain actors that show up in this movie that you recognize them. For instance, Al Leong, who he's one of these guys. He was in like Lethal Weapon. He was in Die Hard. He's one of those guys that like you just instantly recognize because like he's been in so many things. Then we have good old Gerald Okamura, who shows up as like the Wild West dual pistol Asian guy who was in Samurai Cop. He was the bad guy in Samurai Cop. Yeah. Like there's so many like recognizable Asian actors in this movie, and that was actually one of the problems with the marketing of it, is because there are only like 2 or 3 like white people in this movie, and so like the studio
And in the 80s, they were like,
In the 80s.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, in the 80s, they were like, nobody cares about Asian actors, and so like we don't know how to market this movie.
Morons.
I'm glad
All
that
of our
this
favorite-
finally found its traction, though, with like it becoming like a cult classic.
Yeah, for sure. So a nice little bit of trivia from our live chat right now from Twitter Spaces. Marshall says, an old game called Fallout 2, if you've ever played it. It's
game.
a post-apocalyptic, I know it is an old game at this point. Set in a post-apocalyptic USA, there are a few quests that you do in San Francisco that is literally characters from this movie, straight down to the villain being called Lopan. So that's pretty cool. So this movie inspired a ton of people.
Oh yeah, in fact, you remember Gangnam Style? Gangnam Style?
That's not from this movie, is it?
No, but they did a parody of it called Lopan Style.
Oh, okay.
Where James Hong actually like did a little cameo in there.
Interesting.
But
Nice.
it's a very funny like little like spoof video. One of the interesting things about this movie, it's become a cult classic, and it's got such a hardcore fan base that you wonder like why haven't they made like a sequel to it? But it turns out, so like when The Rock was working with Kurt Russell on the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was in those.
His production company inked a deal to make a sequel to this movie. And so the Rock is producing a follow-up to Big Trouble in Little China.
Is producing like present right now? It's happening?
Yes. And Kurt Russell is going to reprise his role as Jack Burton, and The Rock is going to be the one they pass the torch to as a follow-up to this film.
Is the Pork Chop Express still running?
Is this something we want?
Yes.
Really?
I want it.
You don't want modern sensibilities tainting your beloved
I have
movie?
faith in The Rock, I think. I think that he would do good.
I smell
for
what The
this.
Rock's cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go
I don't
down
know.
to Jabroni Street and check into the hotel.
Like
Gonna turn that some bitch sideways and shove it up your Rudy Poo candy ass. Yeah, okay. I actually watched wrestling. Okay,
Me
so-
too.
I never did. I don't know if I would trust The Rock.
I'd be a
but-
little nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know if
This
I,
is
if
one
I
of those
trust them.
like it's hard to tell if whether or not it would be a cash grab or like a nostalgia bait, or if they're genuinely.
I've seen The Rock play both sides of that coin.
Oh, he's a sellout.
I mean, I think it
You know what I
depends
mean?
Like
on
I like the look. Listen, I
who's
like The Rock.
directing.
Yeah, that would be a big question.
Yeah.
I like.
it wouldn't be Carpenter.
Yeah,
I've seen The Rock,
I like.
bend the knee to the asshole.
Yeah, I like his movies, and him as a celebrity, he's fun to watch. But I've seen him play both coins. I've seen him just like go with the tide.
Kurt Russell plays Santa Claus now.
So I forgot to mention, did you guys know that originally John Carpenter wanted Jackie Chan to play Wang in this movie?
Oh, that'd be
That
cool.
would have been
But
great.
but
That'd be cool.
but the studio was like Jackie Chan can't speak English. We're not casting someone that can't even like deliver his lines in this movie. And so John Carpenter was like, well, that's too bad because I really want
Jackie
Jackie
Chan's
Chan.
fucking natural treasure.
He is.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but back in the 80s, his English
We need a buddy
was
cop
even worse.
movie with Jackie Chan and Snoop Dogg.
Isn't that Rush Hour 5?
That'd be fun.
Vader, have you ever seen the porn parody of this movie?
Great question.
No.
What?
Big Trouble in Little Vagina?
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
That sounds amazing.
If we get to 200 club members,
Don't
we will live
Don't you fucking do it, Jude.
I gotta
I'll
find
watch
this shit.
it.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky
Don't
Bobby.
you put that evil on me.
Big Trouble in Little Vagina.
I want to watch it so bad right
Is it
now.
a thing?
Are there monsters? Are there monsters?
Is there a troll monster?
It's taking me to a YouTube video.
Oh no.
Do it.
What? No.
I like how
Oh my
Vader just
God.
stopped the podcast
Just
to look
stop.
at porn.
Like, I'm not recording anymore. I'm just going to look at this. I got to find this on YouTube.
It can't be on YouTube. It just can't be.
Maybe it can be. You guys ready for final thoughts?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
In a minute.
I'll find it. YouTube don't do porn, man.
V, final thoughts. Give it a rating for your first
Okay,
watch. I know this is
so
going to be tough, but go ahead.
I'm gonna do something here that I've never done before in the 3 years or whatever it is we've been doing this show. I'm going to abstain from giving this movie a score because I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I need to give it a fair shake and watch it a few more times before I grade it. I'm not going to do this very often, but I feel like I genuinely feel like I'm missing something and I need to find it before I give it a grade.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not giving it a score. I'm going to stay completely neutral. I enjoyed this movie and I thought it was really weird. And I feel like I didn't get it. But I don't know if it was my mindset at the time or if I need to like come over and watch this movie again with these two weirdos. If we need to do it in a group setting or something, or I need to watch it in a theater with a group of friends on nostalgia movie
Didn't you
night.
live watch this with the?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Still, huh?
But
okay.
I didn't. Yeah, I just I'm gonna abstain. I'm not gonna give it a grade.
Okay.
I think I need to give it a few months and then come back to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw rocks at your window in the middle of the night.
All right. Just to get
You want to
my.
watch Big Trouble in Little Vagina?
Oh, I'm gonna go watch that tonight. I'm getting a little backed up. I need something.
He's like 5 stars. Big Trouble in Little Vagina.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I didn't see any of that the last time I watched
Next
it.
week, Invaders porn reviews. Yeah,
So because I'm going to go next just because me and Vader are literally in the same boat. I was going to say the same thing as you.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't want to rate it because I don't feel like it would be fair.
yeah.
But because you already took that answer, I'm just saying.
Do the same.
Well-
We can revisit.
Yeah, this is a revisit one. I guess this is the first time I've ever done this.
Yeah,
but this is a revisitable. It's revisitable. I'm going to say that revisitable movie.
Sure.
I have to watch it again before I give it a fair rating because
Okay.
I didn't dislike it. There's nothing about this movie I didn't like. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
So, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, that's kind of what I'm still there. I loved hearing you guys talk about it and be nostalgia and say a bunch of cool stuff. So I want to go watch it again. I'm not going to rate it. It just wouldn't be right. I don't
This
feel
is
like
what
it would be right for me
I'm
to
gonna
do.
give you an analogy.
Yeah.
So much like how when we all first watched the first season of C, we were like, this is garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we watched it again and we were like, this is hilarious. I feel like that's how this ages.
Okay. I like that analogy. So Jude, what would
Yes.
you give it for rating?
Oh God, this is so much fun. Like you know, I don't particularly care for PG-13 movies. I always feel like they just kind of miss the mark. But this is one of those rarities where it's given me everything that I need in an 80s movie. It's weird. It's got nonsense. It's got sorcery. It's like two characters in a conversation, but they're each playing like in a different genre. And it's so spoofy and fun and campy. This is so much fun for me. I can watch it again and again and again. I'll watch it again right now. This is a 5-star 80s movie for me.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay.
This
Cool.
movie gets me through every plague.
I dig it. All right. Kadish?
All right. So John Carpenter has made 2 classic movies in his career. The first of which is The Thing, which is close to a perfect movie. And the second of which is
Also
Big
with Kurt
Trouble
Russell.
in Little China. Yeah. I talked about how this movie had like a big effect on me in terms of like the creating of my Earthman Jack series and stuff like that. Growing up watching this movie, like, yeah, it's weird and bizarre and off the wall, but at the same time, like there's just something so fun about it. And, like I love movies that I can watch a million times and enjoy each and every time where I'm not bored by it. I don't get tired of it. We talked a little bit about how some John Carpenter movies are ahead of their time, and so they don't find their audience right away, but like over time, like they find their audience and people just like love it. And I really love how Carpenter kind of turned things on its ear with like the idea of like the leading man hero in this movie. Like there's a great scene where Kurt Russell's like leading like the escapees from Lopan's cages.
I love that one.
And they get to this door and he's being very like decisive. He's like, okay, we're going to run through here. We're going to get to the bus. We're going to get out of here. You guys ready?
Here's the plan.
Yeah.
Do this,
Yeah.
this, and this.
And then like he opens the door and there's this like gong sound and it's like all the bad guys are right there. And he closes the door and he's like,
We may be trapped.
and like it just completely undercuts like his character. And there's another great scene where like you can tell he's never shot a gun before, where he like accidentally like he takes the safety off. He accidentally like plugs a guy, and the dude's like, have you ever plugged a guy before? He's like, of course I have. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, but then like he like loses his knife when he's trying to like fight, protect Wang basically, and he runs off and grabs his knife, and then he gets back in the fight. He's like, ha! And by that time, Wang has like killed everyone. And it's just like, he's late to the party, and so like this constant subversion of like the typical 80s hero trope, to me was just brilliant. And I think this is one of Carpenter's most sophisticated movies, but it's also the movie that basically made him hate working with studios because of the failure of the studio to kind of properly market this and all the fights he had to have with them. And so this movie actually was his last like major studio release from the 80s, and he went independent after that and did like They Live and all these other things. But I also think it was like his last great movie. And it's a shame because like he's such a brilliant filmmaker, and it kind of like ruined him going forward. But I love this movie with like 7 different passions, like as many hells as the Chinese have. That's how much love I have for this movie. And so for all that reason, I am going to give it 5 green eyes out of 5 because it is a perfect movie for me.
5 many different Chinese hells.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Right on. All right, guys, we had a ton of fun talking about Big Trouble in Little China. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're brand new here, like and subscribe. We do reviews every single week on tons of different movies across all different genres and years and decades. So we have a ton of fun, and we'd love to have you join us every single week. So subscribe, hit that little bell notification too, because we drop videos every single day. Also, I'd like to shout out personally, we are doing a Monday morning live stream about House of the Dragon, the new HBO prequel to Game of Thrones. We're doing the breakdown. We're having a lot of fun talking about it as general fans, and also book nerds are on with us as well, so we get the full spectrum. So join us. Book nerds. They're special. Join us every Monday morning.
I told him it's okay to say that.
Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us for Game of Thrones talk. Matt Vader, where can they find you on the socials, and what are you doing on Saturdays?
You can find me on the socials at MattVader74 and also at salty_nerd. I run that Twitter account there. On Saturday mornings, Matthew and myself are getting together with Brian from the Popcast. He's like our permanent guest host, right? He's also our t-shirt dude, our merch guy. We're getting together with a rotating group of friends and colleagues, and we are going to be talking about stuff that's going on in the world, but mostly coming up, we're going to be dedicating the show going for a little while to, for some reason, the Amazon Lord of the Rings show. What's it called?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. And also we're going to be discussing the Disney Plus Star Wars show Andor as soon as it starts going live. So we're going to be talking about those each week after the shows air, and that'll be fun. I guess. So we'll see how that goes. Yay!
All right. Jude, go ahead.
All right. So, hey, if you are listening to us on the audio only platform. Scroll down and hit that 5th star, please, and thank you. Also, you can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram and on TikTok.
Right on. Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter and Truth Social. You can also find my books at kadishbooks.com. And for those of you out there who listen to us on Spotify, we're now doing video podcasts on Spotify. So you can also watch us there if you're not like big into the YouTube. And next week, because we're covering so many TV shows, we're doing kind of like 2 movies in a week. And so like this week was 80s mysticism movies, but next week we're doing Judge Dredd movies.
Yes. So exciting. Stallone and Carl Urban.
Yeah.
So it's, there's going to be a couple themes going forward. We're going to do like original versus remake. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
One of those is going to be a first watch for me.
Ooh.
Those Dredd movies are like same dude, but man, they are vastly different movies.
Very different. Very different. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really appreciate the support. And like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification and comment below. Let us know what you think. All right, everybody. Stay salty.